On episode 10 of the Canadian Potcast, how the Butter Baron, a.k.a. Thomas O'Neill, went from black market dealer to cannabis tourism advocate.
So when I was growing up in Toronto, I spent a lot of time in my early years dealing hash and pot, and at some point I started really getting into edibles and cookies and butter, and I was working as a beer vendor in the stands. You know, who wants a beer? Who wants a beer? You want a weed cookie? Too. Or I'd be at the convention center, beer, rum and coke. Would you like a weed cookie?
Plus, why is 420 420? It involves the Grateful Dead, a Chevy Impala, and the U.S. Coast Guard.
A buddy of mine comes up, Patrick, and he says, hey, my brother's in the U.S. Coast Guard, and a bunch of guys in the Coast Guard are growing some cannabis. And for some reason, they think that their commanding officer is going to bust them. And they don't want to get busted. So they decided to let us pick the patch, that they would abandon it. We could pick the patch. They made us a map of where to get the pot.
And for 16-year-old boys, this was a no-brainer. Free weed, come on.
Subscribe to the Canadian Potcast, your authority on cannabis, in partnership with westernbuzz.ca.